All right, I have some updates here on the first good news. First thing I'm going to tell you, great news. I love covering good news. I rarely cover good news. Out of the hundreds of videos I've done in the past few months I've been doing this, I think this is like the third one where I'm happy to cover, at least part of it, just the beginning. From the BBC, U.S. releases Mohsen Mahdawi, detained Colombia student activist. If you don't know who Mohsen Mahdawi was, he's a pro-Palestinian activist who was arrested. He was honeypotted, so he is a permanent green card holder who is currently in the process of getting his U.S. citizenship. He co-founded a student group with Mahmoud Khalil, who we'll be talking about here in a moment. So Mahmoud Khalil got arrested first, and then this kind of led Mohsen Mahdawi, rightfully so, to be very paranoid. He didn't leave his house for weeks, and then he got an email from his, regarding his citizenship application, saying, hey, come to the courthouse on X day for your U.S. citizenship interview to continue the process, blah, 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 blah. Now, he was with I forget what agency, but he was being interviewed at the time, and he's like, I have a bad feeling about this. What if they are just doing this so they can arrest me at the courthouse? And so they went with him, and you can look this all up. It was all recorded, and that's exactly what they did. He went inside to do his U.S. citizenship interview hearing, and what was it, 5 to 8 unmarked vehicles came and rolled up around the building, and they went in and they arrested him. This is no charges, no nothing. And of course, it's the same thing against the foreign policy interests of the United States. And of course, there's the anti-Semitism claims in there, when you can find at least 2 or 3 interviews off the top of my head of this guy being staunchly against anything anti-Semitic, speaking out against it, saying this is, if you're in any affiliated with anything I'm doing or any pro-Palestinian anti-Semitism, there's no place for it here. No place. He's made that abundantly clear. And he still gets arrested. But anyways, he was released. Let's read. Or actually, let's watch this real quick of his release.
He's free!
And I am saying it clear and loud.
Yes.
To President Trump and his cabinet.
Yes.
I am not afraid of you. What did they do to me? They arrested me. What's the reason? Because I raised my voice and I said no to war, yes to peace.
Which is absolutely true. He's pro-Palestinian. He's anti-genocide. Okay? That is the pro-peace position. That is not the pro-Hamas position or the pro-terrorism position. Let's be clear. Anyways, and it's funny because a lot of these deportations, or at least attempts, are, it conflicts with U.S. foreign policy interest. So what about protesting genocide or being anti-war is against U.S. foreign policy interest? Oh, wait. That's all of our foreign policy interests. And we at least used to hide it. But now, no. It's all out in the open now. So if you genuinely believe this guy is speaking against U.S. foreign policy interests, then you're just admitting that, we are for genocide and we are for endless war. Simple as that. And if you believe that, I encourage you to look up the facts of this case and the facts of the war, genocide in Gaza, and the message of these pro-Palestinian groups. A Colombian University student and Palestinian activist arrested by U.S. immigration authorities has been released from custody, U.S. media reports. Mohsen Mahdawi, who was a permanent U.S. residency or green card status, was detained by U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement when he turned up at an American citizenship interview in Vermont in mid-April. Mr. Mahdawi's legal team petitioned for his release, alleging unlawful incarceration. The U.S. government says he was undermining U.S. foreign policy. Yes, because, as we said, being anti-genocide and anti-war is undermining U.S. foreign policy. Druby, one of his lawyers, argued that the arrest was in direct retaliation for his advocacy on behalf of Palestinians and because of his identity as a Palestinian. Absolutely true, because as for the case of Rümeysa Öztürk and Mahmoud Khalil, they no crimes, no charges, no warrants. Vermont District Judge Geoffrey Crawford ordered the release of Mohsen Mahdawi from prison on bail on Wednesday, pending the court's ruling on the habeas petition challenging his detention, according to a statement by the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, which is a part of his legal representation. The judge denied a request from the government lawyers to delay his release by 7 days. Let's also be clear, the fight is not over, unfortunately, for Mahdawi. In the statement, Ms. Druby said the claims against him are baseless and a disgrace to U.S. Constitution. She said she was relieved that Mr. Mahdawi has been released and vowed to keep fighting until Mohsen is free for good. Tricia McLaughlin, an assistant secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, responded after his release, saying, "No judge, not this one or another, is going to stop the Trump administration from restoring the rule of law to our immigration system." Oh my goodness. Mr. Mahdawi thanked supporters outside the courtroom, saying, "We are pro-peace and anti-war. To my people in Palestine, I feel your pain, I see your suffering, and I see freedom, and it is very, very soon." One day before his arrest, Mr. Mahdawi told CBS News, the BBC's U.S. partner, that he believed a citizenship interview could be a setup. "It's the first feeling of, I've been waiting for this for more than a year," Mr. Mahdawi said, and the other feeling is like, wait a minute, is this a honey trap? And it was. It absolutely was. Several prominent politicians, including independent Senator Bernie Sanders, who represents Vermont, have spoken out in support of Mr. Mahdawi and called for his release. U.S. authorities have detained multiple students and graduates involved in the protest movement against the war, including Columbia University's Mahmoud Khalil and Tufts University, Rumeysa Ozturk, who we are going to talk about now. So regarding just a quick update on Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil, he can now fight his wrongful detention case in federal court, a judge rules. And if you don't know who Mahmoud Khalil was, he is another permanent green card holder. He is married and he has a wife. And at the time when he was arrested, she was 8 months pregnant. Well, she has given birth and they now have a kid. And he wasn't even allowed to be like temporarily released, or I'm not sure what the term is for it, to go and witness the birth of his child. They denied it right away. Right away, they denied the request. But yeah, same for this guy. No crimes, no warrant, no proof of actual anti-Semitism. You can go read every quote, every transcript of either of these people that's been spoken, and there's only disdain for anti-Semitism and speaking out against it, as opposed to being anti-Semitic. It's crazy. But yeah, Columbia graduate student and pro-Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil can argue in federal court that he was detained and targeted. Sorry, there's a dog fight happening to my left, if you can hear that. Columbia graduate student pro-Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil can argue in a federal court that he was detained and targeted for deportation because of his political views. It's not much of an argument here. That's exactly what it is, especially when you don't have a crime or a warrant. Like, what else is it for? A judge ruled Tuesday in what his legal teams called an important step in establishing his freedom. So that's pretty much the update on him. I wish I had more. I wish it was his release as well. And then we have more Democrats visiting some of the detainees in Louisiana, and one of them being Khalil, obviously, and then the other one being Rumeysa Öztürk. Öztürk was arrested in broad daylight black-bagged in broad daylight by a bunch of plainclothed ICE agents. It was terrifying. And I just couldn't imagine what it would be like to be in her shoes in that situation as a woman. So just a small update on that. Thompson among congressional Democrats to meet with ICE detainees in Louisiana. Oh, and Rümeysa Öztürk, no crimes, no warrant, no nothing. The most you have from her is an op-ed, which we read it here. You can look it up yourself. I encourage you to do so if you think this person deserves to be deported or is some criminal terrorist, because it's a pretty standard cookie cutter. Hey, we should divest from Israel. We have reason to believe they're committing a genocide. Nothing anti-Semitic. There's no support for Hamas or even like Palestinian resistance. There's no wink. There's no nods. It's crazy. Mississippi's 2nd District Congressman Bennie Thompson was was part of a group of Democratic lawmakers who traveled to Louisiana last week to meet with Rumeysa, Ozturk, and Mahmoud Khalil, 2 students who have been detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and transported to Louisiana while they await further legal proceedings. Thompson was joined by Senator Edward Markey, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, Congressman Jim McGovern. That's a good last name for a congressman. Congressman Troy Carter, as well as members of the National ACLU and ACLU Louisiana. The Democrats say the arrest of the 2 detainees is unconstitutional, claiming they are being punished in retaliation for protected speech. FYI, the Constitution applies to everyone: U.S. citizen, non-U.S. citizen, illegal immigrant, legal immigrant, green card holder, whatever. Let's be clear. And even the stuff they were saying, it's not even like a debatable free speech. Like, it's not even like, oh, they said something very racist or mean, but it's free speech. What do you want us to do? Like, no, it's not even that. Congressman Thompson said on MSNBC last week that if the individuals have violated the law, tell them what the violations are, give them their day in court, and why ship them over 1,000 miles away. They have not been formally charged with anything, yet they're being held in custody. Thompson said Americans are better than this. It's no secret that the detentions of Rümeysa, Ozturk, and Mahmoud Khalil are part of an alarming trend by the Trump administration about abduct students and secret them away to remote prisons and jurisdictions where the administration expects to receive favorable court rulings, though it's form shopping, Senator Markey said. And yeah, nothing more on that. I wish I had more updates, but I guess the update here is there are congressional Democrats meeting with these detainees, Mahmoud Khalil and Rumeysa, Ozturk. I assume there's probably more there as well that just don't get as much coverage or name recognition, but it's good to know that they haven't been forgotten about. And to end this with some nice bad news, U.S. government expands grounds for canceling international students' legal status. The federal government is expanding the reasons international students can be stripped of their legal status in the U.S., where thousands have come under scrutiny in a Trump administration crackdown that has left many afraid of being deported. Attorneys for international students say the new reasons allow for quicker deportations and serve to justify many of the actions the government took this spring to cancel foreign students' permission to study in the U.S. After abruptly losing their legal status in recent weeks, with little explanation, students around the country filed challenges in federal courts. In many cases, judges made preliminary rulings that the government acted without due process. Then the government said it would issue new guidelines for canceling a student's legal status. An Immigration and Customs Enforcement document shared Monday in a court filing said valid reasons now include the revocation of the visa students used to enter the U.S. In the past, if a student visa was revoked, they generally could stay in the U.S. to finish school. They simply could not be able to re-enter if they left the country. This just gave them carte blanche to have the State Department revoke a visa and then deport those students, even if they've done nothing wrong, said Brad Bannis, an immigration attorney representing a student who lost his status in the crackdown. The student, who was once charged with a traffic offense, which appeared in a law enforcement database searched by immigration authorities, Bannis said the new guidelines vastly expanded the authority of ICE beyond its previous policy, which was already egregious, let's be clear, which should not count visa revocation as grounds to take away students' permission to be in the country. It's crazy. It's crazy, and if you support this, you are insane. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, if you genuinely support this, instead of trying to fight me and play this team game in the comment section that you're clearly ignorant about, ask questions. Do research yourself. Ask a question in the comment section. Like, please. Like, this is insane. Like, we are watching due process and the Constitution just being eroded in our country. And just everything that we're supposed to stand for is just gone. It's crazy. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next one. If you made it to this point in the video, I just want to give a special thank you. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button down below, and if you really enjoyed it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button while you're down there. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I will try to reply to any and all comments that I can. Until next time, watch that video on screen.